the way the Spanish have ridden this race today. In fact, we've got one of the riders here. I think it's Ochoa must have come back on. I didn't see him rejoin the race, but he's now in this group here. And the other rider looks to me as though it is Jimenez. So a little bit of respite after Alana went, and this very, very strong but little Colombian climber has climbed right back into this race again. But they're also being caught, and while they're playing his cat and mouse game, this man here is getting on with the job, and that's winning a world title. What a year he's had. Indeed, he followed up the great year last year when he had 8 victories, but he's 5th in the World Championship time trial. This time he got silver medal to Ukraine, and this is how he fought the attack today. As we look back here, it was a perfect classic move, coming from the back of the field and shooting far and wide over the willing to help Pantani. I'm not sure whether they could anyway, because of the way he climbs. You see the other dangers on the road here. The rainwater which has come off the field now, and possibly quite a lot of slight increase on the surface as well. Storm behind us now, and behind this rider here, Abraham Olano. One man the world with beer, he knows isn't chasing him because of his teammate right now. Rival all of the year except today, and Indurain doing his very best to see this man takes gold for Spain. If he gets caught, Indurain will be fresh enough, I think, to take the win. He's absolutely frying Pantani. And an attack going now. Well, this is a change, because now we've got a great attack by Gianetti and a terrific pace made by Pantani. Maybe just hesitant there, Pantani. He's going to have to get back in his rhythm, because Gianetti is accelerated, and now Pantani will take a little while to get back into his rhythm, but he's not done yet. Michael Pantani, climbers like to always dictate the pace themselves. They don't like being dictated to, and the acceleration by Gianetti has meant that Pantani has lost ground. He can get back if he can hold them in his sight, but in fact Gianetti is making a big effort now. Indurain has switched camps again. He's jumped onto the Swiss Express this time. He's done absolutely nothing. He's followed wheels ever since Olano broke away, and he's watching the riders crack around him. What an amazing world title this is. Gianetti has had his moment, I think, and it looks as though it hasn't been good enough. Indurain is sitting there doing nothing, and you know the way this race is going right now. Spain will get first and second. And that would be another first. Juan Fernandez, who is now manager with the Spanish teams. There's a rider who has had bronze medals in the championship. In fact, the only race he ever did well in a couple of years, his third places in the world titles. But even Juan Fernandez will now be able to rest in peace by the performance of Spain today. Olano looks certain to win the world title. Indurain is screwing himself up for the silver medal. And as I talk about Juan Fernandez, let me remind you too that in real life, away from the World Championship, he is the team manager of the man who's now alone in the lead, Abraham Olano. Pantani is creeping back, and he's back, and he has come straight by. He's continuing his descent at high speed. Indurain doesn't seem much to be worried about that, but Pantani has continued with his momentum. They've gone so well up the line, they're respecting with the attack of Gianetti. There's no one else going to get across now to these riders, and they've got descent down towards the finish. Certainly Pantani is lying second on the road, but Indurain has gone round with Gianetti, and he's decided now that his interest no longer lies with the Swiss rider, but it must go back to the Italian rider. Well, he's certainly been a busy little bee today, Miguel Indurain. He has ridden brilliantly, and he's ridden solely in defence of his team. Calm before the storm, the final kilometres of the 1995 World Championship, and Abraham Olano having the luxury of a steady free wheel up the mountain around about 85-90 kilometres an hour. Riders can no longer pedal, they've just got to sit here. A little bit frustrating in the case of Marco Pantani. What a position for Indurain to be in, sitting here now, knowing that his country's going to get gold, not really expending any energy at all, except when he's had to accelerate to get up to the wheels of the attack. Abraham Olano still kicking out of the corners, and it looks to me as though we're getting a regrouping of one rider coming back, who in fact could be Pascal Richard. Gets back up on turns. On the Gianetti, of course, that's right, it's Gianetti who's coming up, because he was the last rider dropped, that's right, Richard is still off the back, not very far behind, but he's the one behind. So we have Pantani, Gianetti goes straight by, and Indurain, who can
Yeah, that's Pablo's age, 1945.
He's enjoyed being there in the breakaway group. All smiles from Ivan Stevic. So the group now are heading up towards the line. It was 1:55 last time, and we'll see what the time gap is this time. It's going to be over 2 minutes. Spain, left-hand side. And this time, as we head across the line,
Pablo is cheating.
around about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. 2:15, 7 laps of racing to go. And there is no room anywhere to watch this race now. Stavelot has a smile at the camera, again shakes his head. Still the 5 riders maintaining their advantage. They're going to be out of the lead for a little while longer. All the team cards going underneath my commentary box and window. And the Serbian rider's had a nice time out. He was in the break, he's enjoyed being there, but he said that's very, very hard. Here he is. He quits, he abandons, he's now out of the race as well. But he's had his time. And you have to admire the effort to try and go out and take today's World Championship. For the leaders, 5 leaders, Dun of Ireland, Sergeant New Zealand, King of the United States of America, Alzat of Colombia, and Petkov of Romania. Thank you for joining me. Do tweet in if you'd like to, at @McCrossan, and let me know who you think might win this race today. Thanks, Philip, for your message on Twitter today. As we look at these riders now, the Spanish riders dominating the front of the peloton. So are the Polish riders and also one Brazilian rider up towards the front of the race. Jos van Enden looks around to see where everyone is. He's kind of left them behind a little bit. But it's time to grow a teeny bit more. 2:25 now, and Radiant Tour the advantage for these riders. But I hope you're enjoying today's action. A lot more is going to happen before the end of this race. The Romanian rider keeping on at the front still. The rider for United Healthcare, a member of Rachel Hill's
suddenly this tempo is starting to go up all the time. And that interesting move of the Dutch squad to try and stretch the race and break it a little bit the last time round looks like it is starting to cause some problems for some riders further on back in the race. And now it's the Belgian squad trying to stretch this tempo a little bit more. Next time round we've got 5 laps of racing to go. Things are hotting up also at this point of the race. We've got to join us. He's a rider, of course, that we all know here in the States, and very well cracking from how's it going from your perspective? Have you seen what's going on in there?
It's interesting how they just picked it up shortly to the early Columbia. I think partly because the course is so dynamic and there's so much changing. And I think the condition that they're trying to be to the front, I think there is some problem with the contrast really flat going. They're putting out so much on the early that they put out a big effort here to go on there. I'm sure we will get that. I think it's going to be a good story.
We've backed it up 46 climbs in any bike race. It's fun, you've got to be a lot of things.
No, extremely. And the thing is with this course, there's the proof. Kilometers 23rd, and it's coming up over. And every time you go up it, it takes a bit of power. It's like punching. So every time you go over that hard side, you know, really well. Gotta do it, you know, give it that tempo, and that's what it comes to. You can't be up all the time. It's not like a course shape. Before you know it, we're going to see a lot of riders actually, the gaps are going to open up, big splits are going to happen, and right now, what's going to be critical is having the numbers. The numbers in that front group in these splits is really going to be critical. Belgium right now trying to set things up and keeping that pace. And that's the thing too, once a team senses a little bit of weakness or a split, they're trying to take advantage of it right away. And again, usually you don't see that in a World Championships or any race until you get sorted down to the end. 82 kilometers to go, a lot of racing left.
Yeah, because normally when we look at World Championships, and you know, you and I have seen lots of World Championships, generally what happens is you see the breakaway go, they get 10 minutes, they chase them down. The last 2 laps is flat out, full motor, everyone's going. But this is a totally different shape of the world, and it's really exciting to see the way Belgium are pressing on, the Dutch have pressed on a little bit, and now a lot of the time actually Kwiatkowski's been near the front, he's sitting third wheel as defending champion right now, and this is more like a classic type bike race, isn't it, where we see every single little climb being used as that springboard to try and split more riders out the back.
Very much like a classic style race. It's a classic design kind of course. It's a classic style race that's playing out here. And what we see a lot of times is you'll have a lot of leaders in a typical World Championships. You'll have a lot of leaders sitting in, all conserving themselves. The way this course is designed and the way it seems to be playing out is that really the morning strategy really says we are working for you. We are working for you. It's all designed on one rider from each country, and the other riders really are putting themselves in a position where they really do have to sacrifice themselves in order to keep that main contender fresh for the end and in a good position. That's the thing though. It's not just about being fresh for the end. Really a lot of it is about position. We've seen a few crashes. You have to be in the front because as you get over the top of these climbs, the front 15 guys, they can all sit up, can ride really easy. The 30th to 50th position, they're chasing for kilometer after kilometer after kilometer, burning a ton of energy while the front guys are resting.
We've just seen Robert Hessig go on the attack again. Now we've seen him do this a few times during the race so far. It's like a little bit of a sparring partner duo here going on with Bauke Mollema, he just went to the front, he let Robert Hessig go on the attack, but none of these attacks seem to be sticking, and I wonder what the Dutch plan is. Are they riding for Tom Dumoulin today, who who we haven't seen all race. But the Dutch are softening up all the time, but nothing's really happening for them. Do we think the Mulan is their rider today, or is there another plan?
No, I think they didn't have someone in the first split.
No.
They started riding very early on.
Yeah.
Very surprising at that, because there were a lot of other countries that didn't have somebody in the first split. They didn't let it go way up the road. They could have let this thing take 6-7 minutes. Probably would not have been a threat. I mean, half the riders in that break, a ton of credit for making the break, but many of them were coming from like racing in America for many years. So, you know, Holly, obviously with a plan, trying to soften it, maybe trying to make, maybe they think the race course isn't that hard. They're like, okay, we need to make the race hard, and so they've been attacking like mad, trying to, and riding a hard tempo to make the race as hard as possible. But I think on its own, with 5 laps to go right now, the race is going to be hard enough.
Frankie, look at the average speed now, 45 kilometres an hour. It's getting faster and faster all the time. Riders are dropping out the back. We've got some splits. I've just seen one of the British riders being dropped then. We're at 4 hours, 23 minutes. As a rider, there aren't many races of 260k. We see Milano San Remo is 300. But apart from that, there are not many riders there are not many races 260k anywhere in the world. So just how demanding is it on a body of an athlete to ride 260k?
It's hard, especially, again, everybody can make 120 miles.
Yeah.
The last 30 miles are completely different. It takes a whole different beast, and it takes a world champion to be able to have the strength to be able to get there at the end. Everything starts giving out, and that's what I was talking about, like the comparison of lifting weights. You're going to get into the last 30 miles, and you have to go up. Libby in 23rd, the legs are just going to give out. Riders, they could be feeling very, very well, and they'll be very surprised how they'll catch up with them, and all of a sudden the power is gone. I've seen riders, sitting in the group. Some of them are sitting back, and they're gambling. They don't care what happens in the front. They don't care about the split. They're going to stick with the main group and try to save themselves as rested as possible until they get to those final 2 laps. I saw Peter Sagan looking very comfortable, nowhere near the front. Last time they went through, the split was up the road. He was in the main peloton just riding. He's like, you know, I'm just going to roll the dice and see what happens. And sometimes to be able to win, you have to risk losing in order to win. And I think a lot of the riders in this group, at least the sprinter guys, have that on their mind right now. If it was raining, I think it would have been a better chance actually for the
Okay, so a bit of low energy on that race.
Around the whole entire course. But every race we've seen so far has been a fantastic race. The women, the juniors, it's been super exciting. This is shaping up right now to kind of explode and turn into another fantastic race.
Yeah, I think it is. We've got 3 riders making their way off the front right now. One of them is that Kirienka trying to come across, the Belarusian in the colours. It might be Sweetsoft actually, who's just coming across here to these 2 leaders, which means that we are going to see a pretty incredible group at the front. So we've got Pantano at the front. And also in the group is also Guillaume Bourvin of Canada. And it is Sweetsoft who's coming across to this leading group, who's a great time trialist who rides for the Team Sky. We saw Kirienka win the individual time trial the other day. So 3 riders now at the front, 79 kilometres to go. Pantano is the Colombian rider in the middle there. At the front is Guillaume Bourvin, the Canadian rider, and at the back is Sweetsoft. These 3 riders will try and go clear. Now another attack, and is this Taylor Phinney coming across to the leading group of riders? No, I don't think it is, because Taylor's got some tape on him today, so it's not him, but it is now one of the riders is this joining up with him. It is Taylor Phinney, so he's taking the tape off his... Oh no, it's still there on the left leg. I thought it was Taylor, and then I thought it wasn't for a second. So Phinney, with 78k to go. Now bear in mind, Frankie, this guy has had 18 months out trying to recover, and you're talking about the fact that, you know, the last 30 miles is going to be difficult. We're inside the last 50 miles. Just how incredible is it that Taylor Phinney can come back on?
So it was amazing. His first race back at Tour of Utah, he was second on that stage. It's like people training and racing for years, and they can't get first, second, or third in any kind of stage, and a remarkable talent. And so he, I think, delayed coming back in order to make sure that he was at full strength when he came back. And now, looking back, was the best decision he made, you know, without having to come back too early. But he's been on a remarkable ride, obviously part of BMC Team Time Trial World Championship, gold medal. So So everything has been lining up for him. And the distance, if there's something, power is not going to be the problem for Taylor Finney. The distance will be the problem because that short time in coming back, he really hasn't had the time to be able to build up, I think, that kind of endurance to be there. But
Vice.com is now starting to grow. 57 seconds is now the advantage for this leading group of 4 riders. So let's just remind us of who they are. If you've just joined us now, Pantano of Colombia, Van of Canada, Switsov of Belarus, Taylor Finney of the United States of America, being chased now down by Gatis Smoukalis, the Latvian rider. Stephen Cummings has made his way back into the peloton, a rider who rides at the back of the race all the time. He always tells me I always say that, but it's true. He sits there constantly. He's just had a mechanic look. There are some riders who like to ride at the front and right, some riders who like to ride at the back.
it can be much less stressful riding at the back.
Okay.
And easier.
Yeah?
And easier, it can be. And it depends on the course. On this course, I'm not so sure riding at the back would be easier, but on other courses, for sure. But big chance that you're not going to be able to move up at a certain time. You're not going to make the attack. You're going to miss a split. Anything can happen in the crashes. So there's a lot of risk with riding at the back. On this type of course, I think it would be harder. Plus, the dynamics of the splits happening, I think there's too much that can happen out there. But right now, in the first race, what was the maximum they got up to? Maybe 3.5 minutes?
Yeah.
They didn't really give it too much of a leash. This is already up to a minute, starting to move up the road. Who do you think is going to be? We've seen Holland controlling from lap 1. I don't know how many guys they have left. Is there going to be another team, or do you think it's going to be Holland again if this goes up to like 1.5 minutes? Who's going to panic first?
I think it's got to be the Germans who are going to panic a little bit, and maybe the Polish team did a lot of riding earlier on, so they're not going to have so many riders left. But one team we haven't mentioned an awful lot about, and I just noticed coming up to the front of the peloton, Elliot Viviani and Nibali, Italy, have done no work at all yet. Just heard that Nasser Bouhanni's had a mechanical problem and he's just been paced back into the peloton by 2 teammates. So Nasser Bouhanni is still in with a shout of winning this world title. This gap is growing. 1 minute 15 seconds now is the advantage for the leading trio. Canada with one rider at the front there on the left-hand side, quite happy to let this gap go. The American riders also sitting near the front, they're happy for Taylor Finney to be there. Taylor Finney igniting this race for the United States of America. They got the bronze medal yesterday with, of course, Megan Garnier, who produced a stunning performance for them to get that bronze medal behind her professional teammate Lizzie Armistead. Taylor Finney, a world champion of the team time trial. He won the Dubai Tour in 2014. He was the individual time trial world champion under 23 back in 2010. He's won a stage of the Giro d'Italia in 2012. And one rider trying to go clear here. This rider is Bagdonas of Lithuania, trying to go clear. He wants to try and get up the road if he possibly can and catch the leading trio. The Taylor Finney also won a stage of the Tour of Poland, a stage in the Eneco Tour. He was 4th in the Olympic Games road race in 2012, only 25 years of age, but certainly a rider who, until he had his crash, was on a massive trajectory, but now, having come back, he's just as good. This is Bagdonas, as he continues with his attack. He rides for Agidouer Le Mondial, the French squad, as he is a very strong time trialist. You can just see that with the strength as he keeps the momentum going. We look down on the peloton with the sun on everyone's backs. We expected it to be pouring with rain today. We've not had that at all. 36 miles left to go, 59 kilometres. Who is going to win this world title? Renato Silvestri, I've got no idea who's going to win. 1:15, I don't know. I thought Greg Van Avermaet or Stibar, possibly before the start of today's race. and it's still kind of shaping up that way. We'll wait and see what happens. And I agree with Panda, actually. Panda Sportswear have said the same thing. I totally agree. Pat Fitzgerald's asked about Sam Bennett. He was certainly in the peloton a lot of the time. I'm just going to see whether I can see him in this group right now. The front group of riders. Bennett is still there, I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard on race radio that he has dropped out of the race at all. But certainly things are starting to be a little bit painful out there for some of these riders. This is Bagdonas. Bagdonas is 29 years of age as he time trials away. He won the Ampost Ross when he rode for the Ampost Sean Kelly team. He's won a stage of the Tour of Britain as well, and he rides for now Agidouer Le Mondial. He's a tough bike rider, really good time trials. As we look down now on the peloton, and it is the Dutch team and also the Germans who are keeping everything in control. Sweetsoft asks for a bottle, which he takes with professional ease. Look at that. Finney, Sweetsoft, Bovan, the 3 leaders as they go through the feed again. The tempo very, very high now. And Bovan taking a little drink on board, just trying to keep the body nice and topped up. As Frankie said, in the last 30 miles, your body will start to react in different ways when you are this tired. Bagdonas has just finished the Vuelta a España. It has been interesting the way we've seen little groups of riders going off the front all of the time in today's race. We had that early breakaway, but now as things stand, a trio of riders, and the gap now goes out to 1 minute and 25 seconds. Quite a similar pattern to what happened yesterday in the women's race, where we saw that group of riders go clear. They got over a minute with a couple of laps to go, and we're seeing similar things happening right now. But Bagdonas is giving this an awful lot of throttle to try and get to the front of the race. Don't know what his time gap is right now. As soon as I hear it, I'll let you know. Downhill then with Bovan in the super tough pedalling action, as Frankie said when he came into the commentary box. Taylor Finney right on the wheel, Sweetsoft looking good. Bagdonas now starting to build his advantage on the peloton. The big question is, can he get to the front of the race? Huge crash on the left-hand side of the road. And a massive crash with loads of riders going down in this feeding area. Team Sky's Nordic is down. There's one rider who really crashed pretty heavily. But everyone looks like they're up again. There's one bike left on the deck. I'm just looking to see. Nordic now, just looking at his bike. Let's take a look. As they went through, one rider hit the deck as he went into the feed, and then suddenly everyone crashed on the left-hand side. One of the Polish riders, I think, was Rafał Majka. And Majka was the second rider to hit the deck. I think it was one of the riders on the right-hand side who just everyone piled in there. And it was Viti the Spaniard who was the last rider to be held up there. The Guatemalan rider number 188 is Manuel Rodas. He's going to take a little bit of time to get going. So it looked to me like either someone missed a bottle or something and took their foot out and then suddenly hit the deck, but all sorts of carnage, which again is going to help this 3-rider breakaway. Sweetsoft, Bovan and Taylor Finney still in the lead of this World Championship with 54 kilometres of racing to go. Zdeněk Štýbar has been the World Cyclocross Champion. He was second in Paris-Roubaix this year on the cobbles. He was second in E3 Harelbeke. He won the Strade Bianche, always on tough surfaces. Strade Bianche is a race on the white Tuscan roads, the gravel roads. So he's a rider who loves to be on the cobbled races. He also won a stage of the Tour de France this year. He's had a fantastic season. This race is starting to come back together as we get to the conclusion of these World Championships. Inside the final 40 kilometres, we are in the finale of this year's race. Inside 40 kilometres to go. On the front of the peloton, still Robert Hessing and Roman Kreuziger continue with their work rate to try and bring the race back together. Tony Martin just tracking things a little bit. They'll be looking after the interests of predominantly Andre Greipel. They want this to be a bunch sprint. You wonder whether that's possible, but they also would also be able to play the card of John Degenkolb, who wears number 78. Degenkolb, winner of Milano-San Remo this season. He's looking now to bring home the victory for Germany. Just heard from Alex Dowsett. Said it was pretty hard out there. He is retired from today's race. He had to bring back the big split for the rest of the British riders, and he said it cooked him. So he's now able to just recover and relax a little bit. The rain has gone off, the sun has come back out. So it looks like we may well stay dry by the looks of things until the end of this race, which would be stunning news if that does happen. Looking down on a diminished peloton, as you can see, similar to the women's race yesterday, things are just going, the peloton getting smaller and smaller with riders going out of the back of the race. The three leaders are just there in front to the right hand side, and suddenly Denmark come to the front. Well, this is a big move from the Danish team. They're looking very strong, aren't they? Look at this, the entire Danish team. Christian Jensen on the front of the race. He's an Irish-Danish rider. When you meet him, you think he's going to be Danish, and then you talk to him and he's got a full-fledged Irish accent. But he has dual nationality, and he chose to ride for the Danish squad. So Christian Jensen on the front of the peloton right now. In their team, Lars Bak, Rasmus Guldhammer, Matti Breschel we've mentioned. They're looking to set things up now. Michael Morkov, Michael Volgren Andersen, that's the team of Denmark as we make our way up towards the climb yet again. These riders going along the banks of the James River, closing in now on the three leaders. It looks like they're going to be caught. So Taylor Finney, Sweetsoft and Bourvan, their time in the lead is about to come to an end with the momentum of this Danish team, who look like they are really motoring on the front of the race. Christian Jensen will ride for the Australian Orica Green Edge team next season, and this is closing up very fast. We go underneath the railway tracks, and suddenly this gap, which went out to over a minute, is about to be closed. And as we hit Libby Hill, this race is all going to come back together. I think we're going to see some fireworks now. The British team moving up on the left-hand side of the screen. Take a look there. They have Ben Swift on the wheel, and he's on the front now. Stavelot is up there. They're going to shut things off. Luke Rowe is the first rider into the cobbles. They've put him in a perfect position. It looks like Stannard and Swift are going to kick things on over the top of this climb this time. And Swift, of course, has finished 12th in these World Championships last year. We've heard from Great Britain that they are kind of running a loose plan along the sort of lines of Swift going